Good afternoon. We welcome you all to our today's seminar on biotechnology and pharmaceuticals. This is the first initiative of the Bengal Chamber, and our theme is today overview and linkage between biotech and pharma. I request Mr. Abhijit Banerjee, Vice President, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Managing Director, Linde, to please deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the seminar on biotech and pharmaceuticals themed overview and linkage between biotech and pharma. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to welcome Shri Ujjwal Vishwas, Honorable Minister in charge of the Department of Science, Technology and Biotechnology, Government of West Bengal. The Chamber believes that this is a very opportune moment for a program on biotechnology and the pharmaceutical industry, as both are emerging as major drivers of economy with a great impact on the society itself. No one in this audience can ever forget the contribution of these two segments when we were faced with the COVID pandemic. The Biotech and Pharmaceutical Committee of the Chamber is a very new one, was born about 1.5 years back, and this is their first program. My compliments to the team for having taken up this task. The seminar represents a significant opportunity for us to explore the dynamic intersection between biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, two fields that are not only in the forefront of scientific innovation, but also critical to the health and well-being of the community. The collaboration between these sectors adopts advancements that can lead to innovative treatments and improved healthcare. We would also like to discuss the correlation of these two areas along with other industry segments, like for example, agriculture. Today, our discussions will expand into various topics, including the latest trend in biotech research, regulatory challenges, and the collaborative efforts that drive innovation in the pharmaceutical industry. We're delighted to have the participation of experts from the domains with our esteemed speakers and panelists who will share their knowledge and thoughts on business opportunities in this segment. I would encourage everyone over here to actively participate in the discussions and share your insights also. Our objective of augmenting the state's immense potential for contributing to the growth of pharma and biotech industry in the country and specifically this region. Based on that objective, we would also be presenting the Chamber's recommendation on the state's biotech policy to the Honorable Minister. Once again, a very, very warm welcome to all of you, including friends from the media. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Dr. Dhrubajyoti Chattopadhyay, the Chairperson of the Biotech and Pharma Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Vice Chancellor Sister Nivedita University, to please deliver the theme address of the program.
Good evening to everybody. As already mentioned by our Vice President, regarding the importance of this particular seminar, what's being organized by the Biotech and Pharma Committee today. I just wanted to share with you that this is the first chamber, sir. Professor, Honorable Minister, sir, this is the first chamber which has got a Biotech and Pharma Committee. There is no other chamber has got it. So we really thank this BCC and I for having this particular committee with them. And we are also indebted to our Honorable Minister, Department of Science and Biotechnology, for agreeing to come over and give his valuable remarks in our first seminar. Thank you, sir. I and my co-chairperson Deboshi Dattagupta, both of us discussed about that what should be the theme of this seminar. And then we thought that while discussing amongst ourselves that biotechnology and pharmaceuticals are two interconnect fields that have significantly impacted healthcare and medicine. While they share common goals such as the development of new therapies, treatments, they differ in their foundational sciences, technologies, and methodologies. This overview explores the relationship between biotechnology and pharmaceutical, highlighting their similarities, differences, and the ways in which they can complement each other. Now, if we look at the healthcare, biotechnology primarily focuses on the development of biologics, therapies derived from living organisms. This can include monoclonal antibodies, vaccines, gene therapy, and cell-based treatments. The development of these biologics often involves the different types of manipulation of genetic materials, protein engineering, and the use of cell culture to produce therapeutic agents. One of the key advantages of biotechnology is its ability to create highly targeted therapies. For example, monoclonal antibodies can be assigned to bind specifically to the target, say for example, the type of cancer cells, reducing damage to healthy tissues, which is normally done by a lot of anti-cancer drugs. Similarly, we can see the pharmaceutical industry, often referred to as simply as pharma, is primarily concerned with the development, production, and marketing of drugs. Now, these drugs or pharmaceuticals are typically small molecule compounds that can be synthesized chemically, or sometimes getting the modification of the naturally obtained products. Now, pharmaceuticals have traditionally been the cornerstone of modern medicine, providing treatments for a wide range of disease. Now, these pharmaceuticals are developed through a process that involves extensive research and development, followed by clinical trials and regulatory approval. Now, once a promising candidate is identified, it undergoes a series of clinical trials to evaluate its performance. The pharmaceutical industry has historically focused on the active molecules that can be manufactured, distributed, administered, and are often taken in the different forms of drug uptake or drug delivery. Now, in this particular background, if you look at the convergence of biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, it has led to advancements in medicine in a very, very big way. One of the most prominent areas of overlap is the development of the biosimilars also, other than the biologics. Now, biosimilars are a follow-on version of biologics that are similar but not identical to the original product. The development of biosimilars requires a deep understanding of both biotechnology and pharmaceutical process. So, the integration of biotechnology into the pharmaceutical industry has paved the way for targeted therapies also, and precision medicines, what we are talking about at present. It provides the tools to identify specific biomarkers and develop therapies that target those markers with high precision. Now, if we consider the recent therapies which require cutting-edge biotechnology for the development, including the techniques like CRISPR-Cas for gene editing and the use of stem cells, I could find out that there are a number of evidences that the leading pharmaceutical companies throughout the globe play a crucial role in scaling up the production of these therapies. So, personalized medicine, which is another concept closely related to precision medicine, where biotech and pharma intersect. Now, personalized medicine involves tailoring medical treatment to the individual characteristics of each patient, often using information about the patient's genetic profile. This approach is made possible by advances in biotechnology such as next generation sequencing, which allows for rapid and cost effective genetic informations. looking forward, the relationship between the biotechnology and pharmaceuticals is the impact or outcome of that is today's seminar. So I'm sure the relationship between the biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, which is a dynamic as well as a evolving one, it should be characterized by collaboration and mutual benefit. And thereby, as they continue to intersect and influence each other, biotech and pharma will play a critical role in shaping the future of healthcare. With these few words, I thought we designed our panel discussion. Thank you all for your presence.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Deboshi Dattagupta, co-chairperson of the Biotech and Pharma Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Managing Director, East India Pharmaceutical Works Limited, to please deliver the special address.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Minister, our beloved Vice President, our Chair of our committee, dignitaries here, ladies and gentlemen. I would not take much of your time. We would love to go to the panel discussion as quickly as possible to know more about the kind of collaboration sir has been talking about. Yes, I am from the pharma manufacturing and the marketing industry. One thing I would of course like to say that the end product of research and manufacturing leads down to solutions for patients. That is what it is all about. Everybody in this country, in this sector, are working towards creating solutions so that the patients are benefited. So we'll hear more from everybody during the session and interact with all of you to find out what more can be done in the future by both the industries. So I again thank you. This is our first program, and thank you for blessing us. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our chief guest, Shri Ujjwal Bishwas, Honorable Minister in charge of the Science, Technology and Biotechnology Department of the Government of West Bengal, to please deliver the address.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. This is a most emergency system, that is biotechnology in our department. In Calcutta Biotechnology Park, you have seen in till the date 8 biotech companies have already started the functioning in the KBP, and 6 new companies have been selected and for inclusion of already patent are applied by such companies which may be signified, and society has been impact fully functioning the plant, tissue culture, laboratory and greenhouse have already been delivered in financial year last year. This is a most greatest thing in the technical department of our biotechnology. Mainly, just it is really I am giving you the main thing in the biotechnology. Biotechnology and এবং যে ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজ, এটার মধ্যে যে ব্যাপক ধরনের একটা সংমিশ্রণ আছে, এটা কিন্তু আমরা কিন্তু ভাবতেই পারি না। বায়োটেকনোলজি জিনিসটা একে অপরের সঙ্গে যে একাধিকভাবে সমৃদ্ধ করে, সেটা কিন্তু আমাদের ধারণার মধ্যে কারোর নেই। খুব কম জায়গাতেই এটা আমাদের ভাবনার মধ্যে আছে। কেননা জৈব প্রযুক্তি পণ্য এবং প্রযুক্তি বিকাশের জন্যে জৈবিক সিস্টেম আমাদের কাজে লাগানোর উপর দৃষ্টি নিবদ্ধ করতে হয়, এবং এর মধ্যে জেনেটিক ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং এবং যে থেরাপি, সেল থেরাপি, যেটা আমাদের বায়ো ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিংয়ের মধ্যে কৌশলগত অন্তর্ভুক্তি রয়েছে। ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল থেরাপি ওষুধে আমাদের রাসায়নিক যৌগ এবং জীববিজ্ঞানের বিকাশ জড়িত আছে। ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল প্রায় নতুন ওষুধ তৈরি করতে জৈব প্রযুক্তিকে উদ্ভাবন হিসাবে ব্যবহার করে। জৈব প্রযুক্তিতে অগ্রগতি যেমন ক্রিসচার জিন সম্পাদন এবং মনোক্লোনিক অ্যান্টিবডি বিকাশ ওষুধের বিকাশের জন্যে নতুন সরঞ্জাম এবং লক্ষ্য সরবরাহ করে। ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল কোম্পানিগুলি নতুন ওষুধ তৈরি করতে বিদ্যমান ওষুধগুলি উন্নত করতে বায়োটেক উদ্ভাবনগুলির প্রয়োগ করার অত্যন্ত প্রয়োজন আছে। জৈব প্রযুক্তি সংস্থাগুলি প্রায় অভিনব জীববিজ্ঞান এবং বায়োসিমিলার তৈরি করে, যার মধ্যে ভ্যাকসিন, জিন থেরাপি, প্রোটিন ভিত্তিক ওষুধ রয়েছে, এবং তারা বৈজ্ঞানিক আবিষ্কার এবং প্রাথমিক পর্যায়ে উন্নয়নের উপর ফোকাস করে। মূলত ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল কোম্পানিগুলি সাধারণত ক্লিনিক্যাল ট্রায়াল এবং নিয়ন্ত্রক অনুমোদন হিসাবে বড় আকারের উৎপাদন সহ ওষুধের বিকাশের পরবর্তী ধাপগুলি পরিচালনা করে। ওষুধ প্রাণীদের বিকাশ এবং অ্যান্টিমাইজ করে এবং প্রায়শ নির্দিষ্ট জৈবিক লক্ষ্যগুলির উপর ফোকাস করে। ক্লিনিক্যাল ট্রায়াল নিয়ন্ত্রক অনুমোদন এবং ব্যাপক উৎপাদনের মাধ্যমে প্রতিশ্রুতিবদ্ধ বায়োটেক আবিষ্কারগুলি গ্রহণ করে। বায়োটেক ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল পণ্যের নিয়ন্ত্রক আমাদের ল্যান্ডস্কেপ জটিল এবং আমাদের অত্যন্ত কঠোর উভয় শিল্পের নিয়ন্ত্রক পরিবেশ নেভিগেট করতে হবে এবং তাদের ফোকাস ভিন্ন হতে পারে। বায়োটেক কোম্পানিগুলি অভিনব প্রযুক্তি এবং অনন্য নিরাপত্তা এবং কার্যকারিতা প্রোফাইল সহ পণ্য সম্পর্কিত চ্যালেঞ্জের সম্মুখীন হতে পারে। ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল কোম্পানিগুলি ওষুধের নিয়ন্ত্রক অনুমোদন নিয়ে কাজ করে, তার মধ্যে উৎপাদক অনুশীলন এবং পোস্ট মার্কেট নজরদারির জন্যে আমাদের নির্দেশিকা মেনে চলা। বায়োটেকনোলজি ফার্মাসিউটিক্যালের মধ্যে আজকে পারস্পরিকভাবে সম্পর্ক আজকে বাজারের গতিশীলতা এবং কৌশলগত পরিকল্পনা প্রভাবিত করে। বায়োটেক উদ্ভাবনগুলি এমন সাফল্যের দিকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে পারে যা ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল কৌশল এবং বাজারগুলিতে আজকে নতুন আকার দেয়। বায়োটেক ফার্ম বিনিয়োগ অত্যাধুনিক চিকিৎসা এবং প্রযুক্তি বিকাশে চালিত করতে পারে। উভয় শিল্পই শেষ পর্যন্ত রোগীদের ফলাফল উন্নত করার লক্ষ্য রাখে, এবং যদিও তাদের পদ্ধতির পার্থক্য হতে পারে। জৈব প্রযুক্তি লক্ষ্যযুক্ত থেরাপি এবং ব্যক্তিগতকৃত আজকে ওষুধের বিকাশের উপর ফোকাস করতে পারে। ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল বৃহত্তর জনসংখ্যার কাছে পৌঁছাতে এবং তাদের অ্যাক্সেস আজকে যোগ্যতা নিশ্চিত করার জন্য আজকে চিকিৎসাগুলিতে স্কেল করার জন্যে আজকে কাজ করতে পারে। মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়ের নেতৃত্বে পশ্চিমবঙ্গ সরকার জৈব প্রযুক্তিকে আজকে অর্থনৈতিক আজকে প্রবৃদ্ধির একটি প্রধান ক্ষেত্র হিসাবে চিহ্নিত করেছেন, এবং উদ্যোক্তাদের প্রচারের জন্যে আজকে জৈব প্রযুক্তির ক্ষেত্রে বিনিয়োগ আকর্ষণ করার উদ্যোগ নিয়েছে। বিজ্ঞান এবং প্রযুক্তি এবং বায়োটেকনোলজি বিভাগ, পশ্চিমবঙ্গ সরকার, ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল সোসাইটি ফর বায়োটেকনোলজি আজকে মেন্টারিংয়ের সাহায্যের মাধ্যমে সেন্টার 5 আজকে সল্টলেক কলকাতার বায়োটেক পার্ক স্থাপন করেছে এবং সম্ভাব্য উদ্যোক্তাদের প্রয়োজনীয় সাহায্য পরিষেবা প্রদান করেছে, এবং যাতে স্কেলিং আপ ক্লিন মডেলাইফ এবং সায়েন্সের প্রোভাইড লিমিটেড, অ্যালোনা স্বাস্থ্যসেবা এবং ডায়াগনস্টিক্স কাজ করছে। এছাড়াও বিজ্ঞান প্রযুক্তি বিভাগ, বায়োটেকনোলজি গভর্নমেন্ট ও পশ্চিমবঙ্গের ন্যাশনাল ইনস্টিটিউট অফ বায়োমেডিক্যাল জিনোমেটিক্স জিনগত পরীক্ষা এবং অন্যান্য সম্পর্কিত পরিষেবাগুলিতে আজকে জেনেটিক পরিষেবা ইউনিট জিএসইউ স্থাপন করতে সহায়তা করছে এবং বিভিন্ন জেনেটিক রোগে আক্রান্ত রোগীদের জন্যে উচ্চ ঝুঁকিসম্পন্ন পরিবারের ব্যক্তিদের অন্য জন্য প্রয়োজনীয় আজকে বর্তমানে 50টি জেনেটিক অবস্থার জন্য পরীক্ষা অফার করে। সরকার কর্তৃক প্রদত্ত অনুদান পশ্চিমবঙ্গ জিএসইউ রোগীদের বিনামূল্যে জেনেটিক আজকে টেস্টিং পরিষেবা প্রদান করতে সক্ষম করছে, যাদের প্রায় রুপি খরচ করতে আজকে 6.3 কোটি টাকা আজকে জিএসইউ দ্বারা প্রদত্ত পরীক্ষার পরিষেবাগুলি আমাদের পেতে আজকে মূল্য আজকে প্রচলিত বাজারে আজকে মূল্যের জন্য ভিত্তি করে প্রাইভেট ডায়াগনস্টিক ল্যাবরেটরিগুলি বেশিরভাগ পশ্চিমবঙ্গের বাইরে অবস্থিত থাকলেও আমাদের 2016 সালে আমরা সূচনা করি, যাতে 31/1/2023 পর্যন্ত জিএসইউ প্রায় 4000-এর বেশি রোগী এবং 350 জনের বেশি আত্মীয় স্বজনের জন্য 5000-টির বেশি পরীক্ষার আজকে অনুরোধ আমরা পূরণ করতে বিরল রোগের বাহক হিসাবে বিকাশের ঝুঁকি রয়েছে। তার মধ্যেও আমরা বর্তমান জিইউসিও 14 আজকে রাজ্য সরকারি হাসপাতালগুলোতে আজকে অ্যাক্সেস করার জন্য ব্যবস্থা করেছি। এই যে নতুন ব্যবস্থাপনা, এতে আমাদের বায়োটেকনোলজি আমাদের ব্যাপক আকারে আমরা মনে করি বর্তমানে আমাদের যেটা প্রয়োজন আছে সবথেকে বড় বিষয় যেটা হচ্ছে আমরা আজকে ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজের জন্য আজকে বায়োটেকনোলজির যে অঙ্গাঙ্গিভাবে জড়িতভাবে আমরা যে আজকে মানুষের নতুনভাবে একটি আজকে পরীক্ষা নিরীক্ষার মধ্যে আমরা যে এগোতে পারি, তার জন্যে কিন্তু আজকে আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি আমাদের আজকে যারা আজকে এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আপনারা চিন্তাভাবনা করছেন। অন্ততপক্ষে আপনাদেরকে ধন্যবাদ না জানিয়ে আমি পারছি না। আপনারা এগিয়ে আসুন শিল্পপতিরা, এবং আমরা মনে করছি আমরা আজকে এই পশ্চিমবাংলায় এই বায়োটেকনোলজিকে সবথেকে প্রথমেই আপনাদের কাছে এগিয়ে নিয়ে আসতে চাইছি, যে আপনারা এগিয়ে আসলে আমরা পশ্চিমবাংলায় অনেক বেশি আজকে আপনাদের এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে সক্ষম হব। এবং আমাদের আগামী দিনে আমাদের সবথেকে বেশি আমাদের যেটা প্রয়োজন আছে সেটা হচ্ছে এটাই, যে আমাদের সবথেকে প্রয়োজন আছে বর্তমানে আমাদের সব বিষয় নতুন করে আমাদের মাত্রা এগোচ্ছে, এবং সেই এগোনো জায়গার আমাদের সবথেকে বেশি যেটা প্রয়োজন আছে সেটা নতুনের দিকে আপনাদের এগিয়ে যাওয়ার ভাবনাটা ভাবিয়ে তুলুন আপনাদের কাছে। বায়োটেকনোলজি আপনারা নিশ্চিতভাবে আপনারা আলোচনাটা করছেন ঠিকই, কিন্তু এখানে দাঁড়িয়ে আমরা এতদিন ধরে এটা নিয়ে খুবই আলোচনা করেছি, যেটা হচ্ছে টিস্যু কালচার সম্বন্ধে আমাদের প্ল্যান্টের সবাই জানি যে আমাদের ঘরের মধ্যে সেখানে আমরা সেই টিস্যু কালচারে আমরা গাছগুলিকে আমরা কীভাবে আমরা সেভাবে নতুনভাবে তৈরি করে তাদেরকে নতুনভাবে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে পারি, সেসবগুলো আমরা দেখেছি এবং শুনেছি টিস্যু কালচারের বিষয়গুলো। কিন্তু বায়োটেকনোলজি যে আমরা যে আমাদের এর সঙ্গে আমাদের যেটা আজকে ফার্মাসিউটিক্যাল বিষয়টা দিয়ে ফার্মা আমাদের যেভাবে আমাদের এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়ার প্রয়োজনীয়তা আমাদের মধ্যে সৃষ্টিযুক্তভাবে যদি আমরা ব্যাপারটাকে নিয়ে আলোচনা না করতে পারি, তাহলে মনে হয় আমরা বিজ্ঞানের অনেক দূরে আমরা হাতছানি দিয়ে আমরা খালি দেখছি এবং খালি ভাবছি। সুতরাং এই ভাবনাগুলোকে আপনাদের ভাবিয়ে তুলবার জন্যে আমি সকলকে আজকের এই সুন্দর অনুষ্ঠানের জন্য স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। যে আমরা মনে করি আমাদের সরকার আমরা নতুনের ভাবনাতে আমরা এগিয়ে চলি, এবং আমাদের এই বাংলা চিরকালই অনেক ভাবে, এবং ভাবা মানে ওই রাস্তায় দাঁড়িয়ে সবাইকে বোকা বানানোর জন্যে আজকে ভুল বোঝানোর জন্য চেষ্টাতে খালি ভাবনাটা ভাবলে হবে না। আমরা তাই মনে করি আমাদের সবাইকে নিয়ে নতুন চিন্তাভাবনার দিকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়ার জন্যই আমরা সকলে মিলে যেন এটাতে এগিয়ে যাই। আমাদের এই সরকার আজকে যেভাবে সমস্ত জায়গাতেই আজকে নতুনভাবে চিন্তাভাবনা করছে, আমাদের আরেকটা জিনিস আপনাদের জানিয়ে রাখি, আমরা প্রত্যেকেই জানি যে আমাদের প্রত্যেকের আজকে জিনিসের অনেক মানে ধীরে ধীরে আমরা সকলে মিলে ফেস করব আগামী দিনে। আমাদের এমনিতেই গ্যাস আমাদের সামনে আমরা পাওয়ার পক্ষে অসুবিধার সৃষ্টি হবে আগামী দিনে। আমাদের আগামী দিনে আমাদের তার জন্যে আমরা সবথেকে বেশি দরকার হচ্ছে বায়োটেকনোলজিতে আমাদের সবথেকে বেশি। আমাদের প্রত্যেকের নতুন করে আমরা গ্যাসের যে বিষয়টা সেটা আমরা সম্পূর্ণ আলাদাভাবে চিন্তাভাবনা করতে চলেছি। আগামী দিনে আমাদের ইথানল থেকে আরম্ভ করে সব কিছুই আগামী দিনে আমাদের সবাইকে নতুন করে ভাবনা ভাবিয়ে তুলবে এবং বাঁচিয়ে রাখবে। এগুলো সবই নতুন করে আমাদের ভাবতে হবে। সুতরাং বায়োটেকনোলজিতে আমাদের ভবিষ্যতের আমাদের নতুন করে মানুষকে রক্ষা করার জন্য একটি নতুন নির্দেশক বিষয় আছে। সুতরাং এই বিষয়গুলো কিন্তু আপনাদের সবাইকে আপনাদের চিন্তাভাবনা করতে হবে। বায়োটেকনোলজি আমাদের খুব এসেন্সিয়াল পার্ট। সুতরাং এটা আপনাদেরকে সবাইকে জানানোর জন্যে আমরা হয়তো এখনও সেইভাবে সবারই কাছে পৌঁছে দিতে পারিনি। আরও বেশি আপনাদের কাছে পৌঁছে দেওয়ার যদি ব্যবস্থা করতে সক্ষম হব সেদিনকে আপনারা বুঝতে পারবেন এই যে আজকের এই বিষয়টা কতটা আমরা আজকে সত্যিকারের মানুষের কাছে বার্তা দিতে পারলাম, সেটাই হচ্ছে সবথেকে বড় বিষয় হবে। এর জন্যে আমি আবার সবাইকে আজকে এই সেমিনারের জন্যে ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে আজকে উপস্থিত করার জন্যে আমি তাদেরকেও ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে আমার বক্তব্য আপনাদের কাছে এখানেই শেষ করলাম। আপনারা এগিয়ে চলুন, আমরা সবাই এই এগোনোর দিকে আমাদের সরকার এগিয়ে আসছে। ধন্যবাদ সকলকে।
Thank you, sir. I now request our Vice President, Mr. Abhijit Banerjee, and the Managing Director, Linde India Limited, to deliver the special address on future of drug delivery systems, unification of medical gases and biotechnology.
Good afternoon once again. I'm honored to be invited to speak today about a very interesting transformative topic at the intersection of medicine, technology, and innovation: the future of drug delivery systems and the unification of medical gases with biotechnology. As we stand at the brink of a new era in healthcare, our focus is shifting towards more integrated, efficient, and personalized approach towards the treatment. Medical gases have long been a cornerstone of therapeutic interventions. They are now being explored in novel ways thanks to breakthroughs in biotechnology. This synergy allows us to envision drug delivery systems that are smarter, more adaptable, and capable of responding in real time to the physiological changes inside a human body. The rapid advancement of biotechnology and medical gases holds the potential to revolutionize how we administer drugs, ensuring that therapies are not only more effective but also tailored to the unique needs of a patient. I'd like to give you some examples on this trend. Just some examples, definitely not a comprehensive list. Gene therapy with medical gases. Oxygen-enriched gene delivery systems are being developed where oxygen is used to enhance the effectiveness of gene therapies. Oxygen can improve the uptake and expression of therapeutic genes in targeted cells, making such treatment far more effective in treating genetic disorders. Secondly, nanoparticle-based drug delivery. Carbon dioxide as a trigger for controlled response is something that's been worked upon. Nanoparticles can be engineered to release drugs in response to some specific stimuli. CO2 is used as a trigger to release drugs from these nanoparticles when it reaches certain levels in the body, allowing for a targeted and controlled drug delivery. Biomarker-driven oxygen therapy. Targeted oxygen therapy in cancer treatment. Biotechnology enables identification of specific biomarkers associated with tumors. Medical gases like oxygen can be precisely delivered to enhance the effectiveness of radiation therapy by targeting the oxygen to these tumor cells. These are just some examples which highlight how integrating biotechnology with medical gases can lead to more advanced, personalized, and effective drug delivery systems, paving the way for innovative treatments and improved patient care. As we move forward, it is crucial to foster collaboration between researchers, clinicians, industry leaders to harness these innovations effectively. By bridging the gap between medical gases and biotechnology, we can definitely pave the way for groundbreaking solutions in healthcare. Before I conclude, a cautionary note. The regulatory framework around medical gases is not fully comprehensive in our country. Some of them, like medical oxygen, is extensively covered from a pharmacovigilance perspective, but a lot more needs to be done on other gases. So, I mean, we actually have come across several instances where uncertified gases are being introduced into human bodies, even in medical institutes of repute. So, as we go further on using of medical gases for, let's say, enhanced innovative treatment, the regulatory framework also needs definitely to be visited upon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now we have a pleasant task to perform. I request our Vice President to please present Uttorio to the Honorable Minister on behalf of the Bengal Chamber. I also request our chairperson and co-chairperson to present to a small memento on behalf of Bengal Chamber to the Honorable Minister. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to please stand for a photo shoot. Please help me the. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir. And now we will take a break for 10-15 minutes before proceeding towards the next session. And I would also request our chairperson to please present a recommendation on the biotechnology policy for the government of West Bengal to the Honorable Minister. It's a recommendation drafted by the Bengal Chamber of Commerce on the biotechnology policy for government of West Bengal. Thank you. We will take 10-15 minutes break before starting the next session. I request all the delegates to please be seated. We will proceed towards the next technical session. I request the chairperson of the session, Dr. Drubojyoti Chattopadhyay, chairperson, Biotech and Pharma Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Vice Chancellor, Sister Nivedita University, to please be on the dais. I request the other speakers also to please join us. Mr. Debashri Dattagupta, co-chairperson, Biotech and Pharma Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Managing Director, East India Pharmaceutical Works Limited. Dr. Borun Kanta Bhattacharya, Manager R&D, East India Pharmaceutical Works Limited, to please join us. Dr. Devdatta Bandopadhyay, Chief Training Officer, ATGC Diagnostics Private Limited. Dr. Shongita Sen Maji, Head Technology Transfer Office, IKP Prime, IKP Knowledge Park, Hyderabad. And Professor Sushanta Roy Chaudhuri, Chairman, ATGC Diagnostics Private Limited. I request sir to please take the session forward.
So we are to start the technical session, and as I mentioned during my theme, describing the theme, I already mentioned about the purpose for this particular symposium. Now, based on that, we have actually identified a couple of topics which you can see from your program schedule, that to get some type of background regarding what we are talking about, the complementarity between biotech and pharmaceuticals. Now, the first, what we are going to do is that we are going to have 5, 7 minutes, 8 minutes or 10 minutes to each of this, and then I'm really interested to get the questions from the audience so that the panelists can also give the reward, what they think about those questions. So we will do this particular panel discussion in that format. So to start with, the first topic what we have identified in this panel discussion is future trends and opportunities in the pharmaceutical biotechnology. Now for that, most of you knew about that the first biotech department in a pharmaceutical industry in West Bengal been done by East India Pharmaceuticals. And so we thought that why not Mr. Debashis Dattagupta, who is a co-chairperson of Biotech and Pharma Committee, Bengal Chamber of Commerce, he is going to tell us about the genesis of this and also give an opportunity to know us about the role of this pharmaceutical industry in pharmaceutical biotechnology. Debashis Dattagupta, please.
Thank you, sir. Well, this is a very interesting topic, and when it involves a pharmaceutical manufacturer, it becomes more interesting. Because I have been talking to sir and many of my senior colleagues, is that the general notion about the pharmaceutical manufacturers, okay, or in Bangla we call Oshuder company. Okay. The general notion of a pharmaceutical manufacturer, marketer is a little bit strange. আপনারা ওষুধ বানান, ওষুধের এত দাম কেন, ওষুধ পাওয়া যায় না, আপনাদের এমন একটা ইন্ডাস্ট্রি যেখানে আপনাদেরকে ইউজ করতেই হবে, আপনাদের ছাড়া চলবে না, রাইট? বাট হোয়াট পিপল ডু নট আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড অ্যাবাউট healthcare or the pharmaceutical industry as a whole is the kind of science, effort and technology that is involved in this process, right? Yes, of course, as a well-wisher for all of you, I would never want anyone of you to have medicines in your life, ever, right? I wish you all good health, but I would never want anybody to have medicines or the need for medicines in your life. But things are not like the way we want it to be. There are times that we need medicines and it has to be taken for us to be on a healthier side of life. So the pharmaceutical industry itself is kind of a little misunderstood industry, and when it comes to the amalgamation of the industry with research, okay, that's a very deadly combination. Okay, it's a deadly combination. Now we keep on talking about the industry academia partnership, right? Everybody talks about that, everybody. But if you ask me, it's in a terrible state, terrible state. The academia do not understand the fact that the products need to be distributed to the entire part of the country, and people need to take these medicines and get well. And the industry does not understand that we need research to get those products. So that is a massive issue. So when we talk about future trends of biotech and pharma, I think that's a very, very big issue which will dictate what is going to happen in the future. I just remember yesterday we had a plant visit from Sir's university. Chemistry students had come to our university, had no idea about how medicines are being made, had no idea. But they know chemistry. They know how it might be made or the chemistry behind these products. But they had no idea how the products are being made or what kind of effort it needs to be made. So this is something I get a lot of interest in when this happens, because it is not possible for all of us to know what the other part of the industry looks like. If you ask me, I would never know the challenges and difficulties of a researcher or an inventor. I will not know, because I am not from that industry. I am not a scientist. So that is where people like my colleague Borun Babu, he's here, he's a very, very able scientist. He is in a very privileged position. He knows both. He knows about research, he knows about the commercialization of the products as well. But I would not deviate, I just tell the audience few figures which you might be interested in regarding what our industry looks like. Okay. This is very interesting, because I know there are a lot of students here. For them, they must know what kind of industry or what is the size of the industry they are getting in. Because I think these numbers are important. It might be a little bit boring for others, but please listen to these numbers. These are very, very interesting numbers. Right now, the biotech industry in India is around $92 billion. Right now, 2023 data I'm talking about. By 2025, India is supposed to reach $150 billion US dollars. And by 2030, it's supposed to be $300 billion. So you can well understand the kind of jump that this industry, which includes research as well as manufacturing of solutions or the end medicines, are concerned. Okay. I'm only talking about the pharmaceutical industry. Now there are other massive areas of interest where biotechnology is at work, right? For example, in agriculture, right? It's another massive area where biotechnology is very, very important. So the time I'm here, I will be mentioning pharma and healthcare as a whole, because healthcare includes pharma and in other areas as well. It's very, very, very interesting. So biotechnology in pharma as well as healthcare is a massive, massive area. So being a chamber of commerce and we're a committee of the Bengal chamber, we must let you know what are the commercial opportunities of biotechnology. So I am a manufacturer. My job is to sell medicines, right? Of course, it has to be invented by somebody. So they are there for that. But in a chamber of commerce, we must talk about numbers. So you've taken a look at the biotech companies now in India. These are very interesting facts. 750 co-biotech companies right now. 100 incubators, 6,000 startups, which is estimated to reach to 10,000 by 2025. So you can well understand the opportunities of biotech as an industry, and again supported by pharma. So when I spoke at the beginning, I was talking about solutions, right? At the end of the day, every research, I always believe, must lead to solutions which cures patients. Right? That is our duty towards the society, to invent products or make good pharmaceutical products which helps the patients as a whole. Now, you can very well understand the future of the biotech industry, right? But going into more details, I would not like to get into areas which I am like stirring up the hornet's nest. I will not open those areas. But what is very important here is for us to understand what the future demands of the healthcare industry will be. 140 crore people right now. So it's going to increase. And India is a very, very interesting market for pharmaceuticals. Those who have been fortunate enough to visit the West or being in the West, they know that the dispensation of medicines in the West is absolutely different from what we do here, right? For here we have our Parat Dokan. We can go and get an antibiotic, which is terrible. It's a crime, absolutely. It's an absolute crime. But we do get it, right? We do get it. So there are times where there is extreme challenges for the pharma industry, including the multibacterial drug resistance. It's very, very important. This topic comes up in a lot of pharma meetings every year and every time. That what are we going to do about it? We talk about it. Next day, আমাদের গলা ব্যথা হলো, আমরা দোকানে গিয়ে বললাম অ্যাজিথ্রাল দাও, and we get it. Legally not allowed. It's a Schedule H drug, cannot be given without prescription. So that is where I believe that solutions from the biotech industry will be very, very important. Very, very, very important in the coming years. Everybody is at it. You know, if you look at these data, there are a lot of biotech research firms doing very good work. There are solutions which has come. But I think the challenge lies not only in inventing a product. The challenge lies in getting that product to your customer. It's also very important. That is where we come in, the producers, the manufacturers and the sellers. So as a company, we manufacture products, we market it as well. As Sir said that yes, we were one of the very first in Eastern India to set up a biotech lab. His very close friend, Dr. Omio Banerjee from the Cleveland Clinic, he was instrumental in having us being part of a project with Cleveland Clinic 25 years back. We were the first pharma company in India to tie up with Cleveland Clinic. I remember scientists from Cleveland Clinic had come back to India, so it was reverse brain drain 25 years back to set up our biotech lab. We have products, we have probiotics in the market, which he's now his area to take care of. It has been prescribed by doctors, taken by our consumers, benefited. But again, the challenge lies that how will you transport live bacteria in a capsule and in very good packaging, by the way, to different parts of India. At one point of time, India has temperatures of 50 degrees, and in another part in the hills it's 10 degrees, 50 degrees. That's the challenge of bringing that live bacteria in perfect shape to different parts of India. So the future trend, if I say, it's very, very interesting now. I will not go into the details of research, that is why he is here. I am from a commercial side. Okay. My colleagues sometimes tell me, "Apni to bechu babu." Yes, my job is to sell the medicines. Of course, my job is to sell it. My job is to make sure that our products are of top quality, and I speak for other pharma companies as well. It's all our responsibility. It's not for East India as well. Everybody is trying to manufacture the best quality medicines at a cost that people can afford. Again, a topic of huge debate. I can speak to you about in 4 or 5 days regarding this, and we might not stop arguing. I guarantee you that for that. So everybody is trying to make sure that we get the best of solutions to the consumer. But biotechnology being, something which we won't be able to live without now, especially in pharma. Massive amount of products and solutions available, and it's getting more interesting day by day. Newer versions of products are coming. Acceptance of the general consumer as well as doctors, which is very important. India is such a market, we'll still ask our doctors, right? Of course, there's Dr. Google now. You can ask Dr. Google, but won't get any good answer, right? Ultimately, if you ask Dr. Google, you'll find out anything can happen to you if you take the medicines, right? If you see the last line, especially the last lines, anything can happen to you. So, but we are a doctor dependent country, which is, I think it is good. But the acceptance of biotechnology based products in the Indian pharma market has been increasing day by day, and the doctors are very, very open to prescribing biotechnology products. So this trend is actually good, because if the doctors know about these products, they prescribe and these products do what they're supposed to do, then it is, I think, the best possible way to go forward. So, yes, from a manufacturer's point of view, this is the segment which is growing very fast. Technology is there. It's being applied to many, many areas of therapeutics as far as biotechnology is concerned. Again, I could only talk to you about from the commercial side. I think Dr. Bhattacharya will be more equipped to talk to you about the research side, which is also very, very interesting. I have been privileged to see what the research side does. Normally you won't get time to go to the lab and find out what exactly is happening, but in our organization things happen in a little bit different way. He makes it a point that I go and sit with him inside his lab, so I understand what his science is all about. But I am from a legal side. I have been a lawyer first in the Kolkata High Court, and I don't know how to sell medicines. But inventing medicines is his area, sir's area. They know how to invent it. So of course they need to invent, I need to make it, and I need to sell it so that the society is benefited from it. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Deboshi. But being a manufacturer, one of the very important points he mentioned that he believes in that this manufacturer should understand about the role of R&D. And only then you can have this complementarity between the two industries. So may I request Dr. Borun Kanto Bhattacharya, the Manager R&D of East India Pharmaceutical Works.
Good evening, everybody. Three things: biotechnology, research, and commercialization, and satisfying regulatory parameters is a huge thing. As a person from the industrial R&D, I will start from the backside of the story. For the compliance with the regulatory parameters, and before the conception of the project, you have to understand what is the requirement. And this requirement varies with the organization to organization. It depends what your marketing team wants. There are three things. One, the new project may be for the new products. If you categorize these products at this point, it may be a entirely new product. It may be a improved version of your old product. It may be a reformulation, or there may be something problem which is happening with your product. You have to rectify it. These kind of challenges R&D faces. So from the regulatory perspective, you have to satisfy everything. For applying for a new product, from 2019, the clinical trial rule has come into effect. That is, you have to apply for the new product, or you have to import a raw material, or you have to manufacture a active ingredient. You have to go through these formats. There are separate forms which are applicable for different purposes. For new products, if you want to apply for the new products, then you have to follow the suppose CT21 format. Then you can apply for the product. You know, the amount of investment for these new products, it is nowadays estimated 10 to 20 million US dollar per product. So before starting with these things, you have to self-estimate what you are going to do. And apart from this, 80% of this value is dedicated for the clinical trials, starting from the phase 1 to phase 3 or phase 4, what you call is post-marketing surveillance reports. Sometimes it happens after launching the product, you have to withdraw it for major side effects. So, whenever you conceive a project, whatever it may be for the new products or old improved version or improve your shelf life, that is, you have to think about that you have to comply these clinical trial rules. After application, DCGI will invite you to present your application before the subject expert committee, that is SEC. Suppose you are applying for a gastroenterological product, that you have to face the eminent gastroenterologist in the India, you have to present it, then they will give you some advice or some conclusions for your work. Then you have to go for clinical studies. If it is already in the Indian market, more than 4 years, if it is within the 4 years, it is in the S&D divisions, simultaneous new drug. And if it is more than 4 years, then you may you may have to go for the bioequivalence or bioavailability studies. That is phase 3 or like that. And if it is completely new drug, then you have to go for starting from the phase 1. So, this is the way we have to proceed for a new product. And that Mr. Dattagupta, what he said, that everything for the development of the new product is very challenging for each step. If we consider a biotechnological product, it is very sensitive, very difficult to handle. Even if you go for a live cell or if you go for a simple protein, discovery or invention of a new live cell for probiotic purpose or therapeutic enzymes, another challenge. But get it formulated for a product, finished product, is a different ballgame. For formulation, you have to do a formulation with the existing molecule, and then it should be housed in a type of packaging, keeping in mind that moisture content is very detrimental for biological products. So you have to have manufacturing unit in such containment facilities with humidity and temperature control. So if you have to develop that kind of technology with your laboratory scale trials and pilot scale trials, you have to equip with these things for commercialization of these products. Then comes the packaging. It is a huge field for these biological products because you have to obstruct the moisture content. That for biological products, what we call is water activity, that the moisture content outside the wall. For chemical moiety, it is known as LOD, that is loss on drying. That is a different parameter. So if the moisture content is high, so a live cell will try to divide. If it is no nutrition outside the cell surface, it will die. Sometimes it happens that the live viable count is your level claim. So very much challenging to keep it alive for 1.5 years or 2 years inside a specified packaging. So you have to know the vapor transmission rate, moisture, WVTR what we call. That for this purpose, after formulation, you have to keep, suppose a probiotic formulation, you have to keep the moisture content, water activity 0.2, okay, where 0 is water. Sorry, 1 is water, 0 is, sorry. So this is the trick, and for that purpose, you have to build a facility where you can keep this facility for keeping that moisture content of that facility is 25% RH and 25 degrees centigrade. Even in your pilot facility also. So, for this purpose, we formulated the stages of development for the R&D projects. First stage is the pre-formulation stage. That is, first we get the request for the new products from our marketing team. So we then study the feasibility of whether we can do it or not with our existing system. That is by doing some literature survey, then benchmarking with analog products and selection of materials. This is the first study. Then we go for the laboratory scale studies, where we try to do some laboratory trials with formulations, development of estimations, verification of formulation with different excipients, then compatibility studies with the excipients. If it satisfies our purpose, then we go for the pilot scale studies. These pilot scale studies, we generally increase its volume up to 10, 15 kgs. Then we study with the selected excipients or the formulation which is selected for the study in the laboratory scale for validation purpose. And with this, during this pilot scale study, we need to have our test license from the SLA, Local Drug Licensing Authority. Because when you manufacture in the laboratory scale, that's small quantity, suppose 500 grams, 1 kg, that is permitted. When you produce for semi-commercial scale, 10 kg, 15 kg, 20 kg, then you need to have a permission from the drug control. And with these pilot scale studies, we have to undergo the stability studies with the products. Stability study is that kind of thing that according to ICH guidelines, you have to do stability studies for the entire shelf life which is you claim in for the product. And for the biological products, you need to go for the real-time stability studies. Because for protein or other live cells, you don't go for the accelerated studies. And according to ICH guidelines, they have specified for the accelerated study, you have to go for 6 months, 40 degrees centigrade temperature and 75% RH. And real time, what you get for real time stability study, what you mention in the, or what you claim in the level that that parameters you have to maintain for the entire tenure, suppose 18 months. Entire tenure you have to maintain this. Suppose 25 degrees centigrade, 65% or 60% RH. Then if it satisfies and it satisfies the shelf life of the criteria of the product, then we go for the marketing and manufacturing licensing application to the central drug control. If it is single molecule, if it is pharmacopoeial, then we go to the SLA, State Licensing Authority, and if it is FDC, then you have to go to the DCGI. Okay. Then after getting the license from the licensing authority, we go for the commercialization. First thing we have to do, that we have to fix the primary packaging. That we have already tried in the pilot scale trials. And second important thing, we have to do the costing. Until and unless there is certain volume, you cannot go for the costing of the product. And here is the real challenge for the industry, that if it has to be sometimes compatible. If it is not under the purview of the DPCO, it has to be at par with the analog products which are in the market. And if it is a DPCO product, then it should be within the bracket of the DPCO pricing. It is price regulated. Pharmaceutical industry is subjected to regulation of the price control by the government, that every scheduled drug has a price bracket, that suppose you have paracetamol 650, it should be within 14 rupees. This is the price bracket, and every year you can increase 10% of the that MRP for the next year. This is the DPCO. Government already fixed the selling price. If it is okay, then we prepared the tentative monograph of the product. That tentative monograph means that the whole summary of the manufacturing things are there. That the master formula, total SOP for the preparation, and estimation or assay procedure, everything is there for bulk producing and packaging. That is, we call it batch manufacturing record, BMR, and BPR, batch packaging record. Okay. Next step is first 3 batches generally is the validation batch. So when you go for the commercial production, that means that you have to scale up the pilot scale study results to that one. So there may be some adjustments for the large scale production. So first 3 batch, you have the liberty to manipulate the whole system. After 3 batches, this is called the validation batch, you can alter the BPR and BMR. After 3 batches, it became the fixed one SOP. Then we go for the marketing, and there is a rule that we have to submit every 6 months the post-marketing surveillance of the report of the product for the 3 years, first 3 years, for the any adverse effect observed. And another thing is that if you go for the improvement of the product, then we have to do the same type of experiments for the whole product. And next point is the futuristic approach of the biotechnological product what we want. Generally, till date, we are following the concept and other things which are followed by the Western countries. Suppose you take the examples of probiotics in the market. The consortium which is present in our intestine, not same as in case of a European or American. But we are using that organisms as a probiotics, the culture identified and supplied by these organizations, these companies like Christian Hansen, Roselle are like that. But if we isolate these organisms from our own intestine and get it back to our intestine, it will affect on much better way. So we are working on these, and we have some cultures in our laboratory which is isolated and identified and characterized, and some work we have done with NICET also. Some companies are doing fantastic work in this regard. Suppose Unique Biotech, they have identified from organisms, and they have DCGI approval for these mix of organisms. This kind of this kind of approach is also nowadays coming up with these organisms also. So this is as a whole the scenario. A pharmaceutical company with biotechnology is driven for these things, research or development. And regulatory aspects, you all know, it varies from molecule to molecule and subject to subject, product to product. Whenever it is subject to other products, then different type of clinical aspects come into effect, and you have to consider accordingly. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Now, there are certain very important points raised by Dr. Bhattacharya, and he mentioned to us about the different protocols, what being used by the pharmaceutical manufacturer, and which is going to be substantiated by the R&D of that particular manufacturer. Now, we'll move on to next Dr. Devdatta Bandyopadhyay, who is a Chief Training Officer of ATGC Diagnostic Private Limited, but has got a 17 years of experience in Zydus Pharmaceutical. So may I request Dr. Bandyopadhyay to discuss on this, leveraging the emerging technologies to accelerate investment in health and biotechnologies and advances in drug development.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. This has been a very enchanting discussion and session going on. As Dr. Drubajyoti Chattopadhyay said, I have worked for Zydus in past 17 years, and during that time, I kind of got some kind of idea about what's the thing going on in pharmaceutical industry in terms of biotech and pharmaceuticals. Normally, biotech means there is some kind of living organism is involved from which the product is manufactured. On the contrary, when you talk about pharmaceuticals, it is pure synthetic chemistry. In past couple of years, we have seen a boom of different kind of technologies. And those technologies have paved the way of biotechnological research and new thinking, new product into a completely new era. Let me just go through a couple of them. Number one, as we all know, it's artificial intelligence. I will go through one by one, but first let's give a total idea of a couple of those technologies which are booming up. Artificial intelligence is the first and the foremost one. Second is big data. I mean, it's all full of data. Your genomics, your proteomics, your kinomics, epigenomics, all data are available all through internet. Gene editing, CRISPR technology, already we have heard about that. That's a very important tool. Precision medicine, a same medicine may work for you and may not work for me. So we need to have a precision medicine to target individual by individual. Gene sequencing actually gave a very good idea of how to do this precision medicine thing. Biomanufacturing, synthetic biology, bioprinting, which is a very interesting thing, I will come to that, microfluidics, and finally tissue engineering. Let's go by one. Artificial intelligence. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because Dr. Sushant Rai Chaudhary will have a separate talk on that. And I don't think I need to tell what is artificial intelligence. It's the whole world is running with artificial intelligence. Our Facebook, our Google, our YouTube, everything is based on artificial intelligence. Whatever you are seeing in first couple of days, based on that, some new things are coming up. So, artificial intelligence, they can screen biomarkers as well as you ask them to scrape a scientific journal and get the most important thing for you, it will generate for you. Image classification, if you tell that how cancer cell look like, it will have it in memory and form some kind of algorithm to develop a new strategy to tell you that this cell is cancerous, this cell is not. Which companies are working on that? Two main companies I found, RPGO Bio. They are a US based startup company, and they are developing an RNA platform to guide the therapeutic development, and also they are simulating a RNA time series data, how each RNA is going up and going down in the timeline. Based on that, they are reconstructing the signaling pathway, and they have a $17 million investment in past couple of years. All these companies that I'm going to tell in next couple of minutes are all formed in the later half of the past decade. That means after 2015 and on so. Deep Trade, that's a Swedish company. They are also using AI to identify genetic markers, and they are analyzing genomic data to understand the genetic mechanism of a trait, why one group is particularly susceptible for, say, diabetes or for cancer, while other group is not, those kind of things. They have a 0.2 million US dollar, 0.24 million US dollar investment in last couple of years. Big data, we know vast amount of data is now accessible, all those omics I said. This actually is enabling these companies to analyze our genomic sequence in detail, our protein sequences in detail, to find out which drug will suit me best. I will give you one example, irinotecan, a cancer medicine. It is actually a pro-medicine, pro-drug, which is metabolized to SN38 in our body. And this metabolization is done by a esterase. Now the question is, if I don't have that esterase in my body, or I have less esterase in my body due to some kind of genetic trait or whatever, then I will not have this prodrug converted into the real drug, and irinotecan will not work in me. Another part is that even if I have converted it to irinotecan to SN38, which is the active component, next part is the metabolization and elimination of the drug, which is a very important thing to avoid toxicity. That is done by another glucuronidase activity. If I don't have that, I will accumulate this drug, and that drug will become severely toxic for me. So this is very important to decide whether my body has got those two enzymes or not, to determine whether this drug is perfect for me or some other drug. Again, two companies I will mention, Fresh Wind Biotechnology, they are a US startup. They are creating a vast biological database, and for cancer therapeutics mostly, they are creating changing your immune cells in a way so that those immune cell can target the cancer more effectively. And they are also isolating and activating and expanding our T cells, isolating from the body, expanding this, putting it back, so they can fight better against the cancer in a natural way. And they have got a $10 million investment. BioBox, another one from Canada, they are also using a data analytics platform, $1 million investment. Next comes gene editing. I don't have to say much. Almost everybody know about the CRISPR thing. You choose a perfect part of your genome, cut it out, replace it with something. So if you find that this part of genome is defective, you can precisely cut it out and replace with a healthy copy. The company which are working for that, IECure, that's a US based company. They are using that to treat rare genetic diseases. Mostly, the three main things they are targeting is ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency, citrullinemia type 1, and phenylketonuria. $50 million investment. Plastomics, that's a US based company. They are creating a next generation delivery technology for chloroplast editing. That's a very interesting thing. And they are kind of modifying the whole photosynthesis pathway by altering some genes around. $7.1 million investment. Precision medicine, as I have said, gene editing, gene sequencing, all those costs are have significantly come down. So that means more people are can afford this kind of gene sequencing or gene editing. Naturally, new drug pathways, new precision medicines are coming up, which are you can say, tailor-made medicine, which will suit you, not me, or which will suit me, not him, something like that. So, and getting more innovative drugs. ILOF, it's a British startup. They are patient-centric, that's the word they used, patient-centric drug development platform they have generated. And their investment is $1 million. Dino Therapeutics is another one, which is US-based. They are also using AI-based gene therapies, and they are optimizing adenoviral-mediated gene insertion technology. So they are altering the adenovirus capsid in a way so that it can infect more cell and the gene transfer is more efficient. $100 million investment. Gene sequencing is another one which is very popular, and lots of people are doing gene sequencing to know their own whole genome sequencing and get kind of idea of what kind of disease they are predisposed of. BioClavis, BioScribe, these are the two companies which are working on that. They have investment of around $20–30 million each. Biomanufacturing, another one, which you know, spirulina is a very common product available in the market. So you develop something or totally from bio, you take the whole cell, you take the whole paste, whole lysate, something like that. So there are also Proteinia, a company, they are using an insect-based platform for next generation biomanufacturing. $100K investment. More scalable and robust alternative they are providing. Another one is the Deep Arch. It's called Aerobio. They have a very interesting technology. They are converting carbon dioxide from industrial emission into high-value chemicals. So changing carbon dioxide to carbohydrate and other components so that you can ingest it directly. $50 million investment for them. Synthetic biology. Synthetic biology, we know the name as it suggests. You synthesize compound completely out of living body. So that means here the most important thing is they are creating is using a lysate type of thing. They're isolating cell lysate and using that lysate to develop other proteins. Lenio Bio, a German company, is working on that. They have produced 500 proteins with post-translational modification outside the cell. Cell-free protein expression, and $3 million USD they have secured as investment. They also work on different antigen antibodies, allergens and hormones for use in their biotech and biopharma sectors. Another company which works on that line is Ribbon Biolabs. It's an Austrian company. They have combined biochemistry and algorithms and automation, all three together, to create different kind of proteins. I didn't find any name yet. Most probably they have not produced anything in market. It's $20 million investment. Bioprinting. Bioprinting is something very interesting. I mean, we biologists, we check the efficacy of our drug in the in vitro level on a monolayer cell. So we use either kidney cell or liver cell or something cell as a monolayer and treat the cells with drug and find out. Does it really reproduce the original system as we were? No, because our liver is a 3D structure. Our kidney is a 3D structure. How about the inner cell and the outer layer cell? The outer layer cells are exposed to a completely different environment than the inside of the liver. So it would be quite nice if we create something like an artificial liver. How do you create an artificial liver? They have used a 3D printer. 3D printing is a very important technology coming up and a very interesting technology. I feel very intrigued by this technology that you can print a liver outside of nothing. So they are creating 3D printers. Once I made an artificial skin, I remember, and I used it for checking the bioavailability and penetration of drug through the skin. That is using melanocyte and keratinocyte into different layer. But that's very expensive and very cumbersome process. If bioprinting can eliminate those cumbersome process and make it much more simpler, nothing could be nicer than that. 3D biotechnology and Prometheus. These are the two companies there I found working on that. Microfluidics. Microfluidics means very fine channels through which the fluids can move in, and during the movement they can monitor the cell's condition. They have used it for diagnostic. I didn't find any product yet. An organ on a chip device. Naturally, again, if you simulate the channels like the veins of our body, you can somehow simulate the organ structure in there. So in a small chip, they are kind of developing and creating those kind of microfluidic structure. Identech and Transition Bio, they are working on that with a $1 million and $15 million investment respectively. The last part I'm coming is tissue engineering. Tissue engineering is becoming popular in the food sector, especially with this vegan movement. Lots of people are moving towards veganism. It is vegetarian meat. Like they have created an artificial meat structure which tastes like just like meat, but it is right now it is very expensive. So not available for common people. And these companies are kind of working with that to create some tissue engineering to make it like without sacrificing any animal, not completely vegetarian, but without sacrificing animals. If you can create it, that way things will be much more acceptable. And those kind of animal-based product which are really not animal-based after this technology in place. Aleph Farms, they produces cultured meat. They make real beef steaks with that thing without using beef. And Lygenesis, they are creating organ regeneration. That is another good part of tissue engineering. You develop an organ in culture and transplant it. So those things are coming up very fast, and these are the new technologies I am really fascinated with, and found that if any of these come true and make a very good impact in the consumer market, make it affordable for common people's use, it's an excellent thing. I think with that short note, I would suggest our government, our industrialists, they should look into using this kind of future technologies and incorporate in their pipeline. It's a risk-taking thing, of course, but I think it's time that we take risk, because there are quite good number of success stories around. With that short note, I would conclude over here, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Bandyopadhyay. And with regarding to the emerging technologies, I'm sure that all of you will agree with me that a dozen of technologies he mentioned during his deliberation, which are all coming up right now, and the Indian drug manufacturers here, they can complement with this biotechnology to develop this type of things, which are going to develop new drugs also. So based on that, and another thing what is coming out of his lecture is that majority of these are actually from the west coast. The startups are there, and the startups are involved into it. So startups plays a very important role in this aspect. Thank you.
Actually, startups, I think they are more adventurous in that way.
Yeah, so
compared
most
to the
probably
established
these are
companies.
adventurous initiatives also. So that's why. So with this, naturally the question comes about that startups is very closely related with entrepreneurship. So we will move on to our next speaker, Dr. Sangeeta Sen-Maji, who is the Head Technology Transfer Office of IKP Prime, IKP Knowledge Park, Hyderabad. So she is going to tell us about the sustainable bioentrepreneurship in developing nation. Sangeeta, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for introduction. So I'm Dr. Sangeeta. I am working IKP Knowledge Park, which is in Hyderabad. I'll talk about my company at a later point. So title of my talk is Sustainable Bioentrepreneurship in Developing Nation. So what I'll do, I'll give an introduction about sustainable entrepreneurship and particularly bioentrepreneurship. And then I'll be talking about a bit about the Bio E3 policy, which is approved by the Government of India a couple of weeks back. And then I'll be talking about my organization, what we are doing for startup, and give some example of sustainable entrepreneurs. So in my audience, any entrepreneurs are there? And who are working with entrepreneur also? Incubation center and all? Okay. So all we know that entrepreneurship refers to a process of creating, launching and managing a new business. Typically startup company offering a product, process or services. Okay, so sustainable entrepreneurship is a business model that consider three things: social, ecological and economic sustainability. So entrepreneur to consider the sustainability aspect in their business, so which goes beyond traditional profit-driven models by integrating sustainability into their core business strategy. So just to give some examples, suppose you are developing some product where maybe you need plastic or anything. So when we talk about sustainability, you have to consider eco-friendly, non-plastic or biodegradable product. So suppose one social entrepreneur who are working with, suppose, local artisan, they are basically social entrepreneur, but suppose for their packaging they are using plastic, then we cannot call those company that entrepreneur as a sustainable entrepreneur. So all these parameters we have to consider if we are thinking of doing sustainable entrepreneurship. And what is bio-entrepreneurship? So bio-entrepreneurship refers to a process of creating or managing business that are based on our biological products, processes or innovation, typically in the field of biotechnology, healthcare, agriculture and environmental science. So we are hearing about biotechnology in last couple of hours. So the key sector in bio-entrepreneurship all actually already told. One is biotechnology company which are focusing on developing drugs, therapeutics, vaccines and all using biological process or living organism, we should say. So any cell line or mammalian cell line or E. coli bacteria, like that kind of products. That kind of is the thing from where you are developing your product. So in agri-business also includes innovation like crop production, sustainable farming, biopesticides, genetically modified organism, biofertilizers. Another sector, healthcare and pharmaceutical, what you are hearing a lot. So this sector includes bio-entrepreneurs working and developing medical device, biologics, personalized medicine and digital health platforms. Another area is environmental biotechnology, where entrepreneurs will focus on biological solution to address environmental change such as waste management, biofuels, bioplastic, water purification, so all these kind of technologies. So all these four areas I have just categorized, all you have heard in last from our earlier speakers. So personalized medicines, synthetic biology, CRISPR and gene editing and sustainability and green technology. These are all startups are working in these four areas mainly, whom we can call as a bio-entrepreneurship. So in developing nation to do a sustainable bio-entrepreneurship, as I already mentioned, three areas we have to see, like they should address economic, environment and social challenges while promoting the growth in biotechnology sector. So by integrating your sustainability principle with biotechnology and entrepreneurship, developing nation can harness innovation to improve livelihood, protect the environment and foster long-term economic growth. So this covers that economical growth, environmental condition and social sustainability. So what we should have? So for doing biotech research, we need advanced infrastructure, like biological product you need many high-end instrument and all. So for supporting startup, you should have some incubation center we can call for helping startup, where we should have the all kind of high-end equipment, fermentation and molecular biology lab, protein purification lab, and majorly quality, for doing the quality you need high-end equipment like chromatographic lab, etc. So you can do the incubation, can have the partnership with the university or any other organization, so that facility should be provided to the startup. Another thing we can do is local resource utilization for doing the sustainable work. And when you are doing the innovation and technology, if when you are innovating and solving the problem, if you are thinking of sustainability, we can think of using renewable energy for like energy and transportation sector, where you can use the solar, wind or hydroelectric energy for developing your product. In agri-tech field, for doing sustainably, you can do the vertical farming, hydroponic or precision agriculture, which actually reduce your water waste usage, increase yield and minimize your environmental impact in the farming. Okay, so while doing this, so in a developing nation, we can think of capacity building and education in the initial days. So we can conduct different training. Investing in education and training program for local talent is very essential. This can be done through university partnership, internship or collaboration with international experts. Government play a significant role in fostering sustainable entrepreneurship. So subsidy and incentive can be considered like grants, tax incentive and subsidize the business that implements sustainable process, and there should be clear regulatory framework or green regulation we can tell, where you make it mandate to use the energy efficient process, waste reduction and environmentally friendly practices that will support your sustainable development. Okay, another thing is finance. So in a developing country, we have realized that startup is always having crisis of the fund. So if there is some microfinance or impact investment can be considered, which can help startup to reduce their burden in bio-business. And then public-private partnership also will be helpful, which can lower the risk and provide the necessary funding and infrastructure to driven innovation. Okay, so considering our country, very recently, just 2 weeks back, one Bio 3 policy, Union Cabinet approved that policy. What is that policy? Keeping in view our national priority of steering Bharat on the path of accelerated greenfield, an integrated Bio E3 policy is proposed. It was proposed by Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, for a green, clean, prosperous and self-reliant Bharat. So what is this Bio E3? Biotechnology E3 stands for economy, environment and employment. So this policy aligns with broader national goals such as achieving net zero carbon economy and promoting sustainable growth through a circular bioeconomy. So the vision, goal and objective I will not go through in detail. So to set our country Bharat at the forefront of the future that is more sustainable and responsible to global challenge, our goal is to fast track innovation to technology in a sustainable manner. Objective is to set a framework and for biomanufacturing processes for enhanced efficiency, sustainability, quality and accelerate the development and production of bio-based high value products. So they have defined actually 6 domains in their policy. These are, it's here, bio-based chemicals and enzyme. Second is functional food and smart protein, precision biotherapeutics, climate resilient agriculture, carbon capture and utilization, futuristic marine and space research. So these are the 6 domains. Government wanted us to work on this in the biomanufacturing sector. So overall it is called as a biomanufacturing hub setting up. So this is 14-page one proposal, it is already approved. Yeah. So I'll talk about that a bit. I just want to talk about my organization. So this is IKP Knowledge Park is in Hyderabad. It is actually India's first life science park and incubator, which is a not-for-profit established in 1999, so 25 years back. It was promoted by ICICI Bank, and over last 25 years we have received support from different government body and different grant agency. So what we provide there is laboratory space and land space for the large company also. So right now 60 large and mid-sized company, global MNC from 9 different countries, they are co-located in our campus. So we have developed an ecosystem where startup and the large company are working together in the same campus. So I would like to emphasize on the incubation center because we are talking about startup. So we have, in Hyderabad, we have a incubation facility, what we call life science incubator facility, where we have all the common infrastructure. If you want to develop any drug, vaccine or any other product, starting from R&D to till quality control analysis, all the R&D work you can do. So it's a R&D stage facility, that is why we call incubation. And in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, we have a hardware incubator where you can make prototype, so that is maker space. So we provide in the life science, biotech, agriculture, all the area what we were discussing so far, all the company or startup can come and work with us. So over last 25 years, 1500 companies we have supported who are spreaded all over India. Our incubation center is in Hyderabad and Bangalore, but through various grant program we have supported all the startup who are spreaded all over India, and also they have launched their product in different part of the world also. Okay, so in Bio E3 I have mentioned 6 thematic area they have segregated. So from IKP side we are considering 3 thematic sector. One is specialty chemical, second one is alternative protein or smart protein, what sir just talked about, and then cell and gene therapy. For this whole 3 area, we are coming up with a facility for biomanufacturing. So bio-based chemical and enzymes, functional food and smart protein, and precision biotherapeutics, all these 3 sectors, any product you want to develop, we are developing a facility for manufacturing where we will be having very large scale fermenter. So from, if you already have done work or with your R&D work and you have to now scale up, so facility will be available in next 2 years. We are working on that, which is actually now aligning with the government's Bio E3 policy right now. So it is kind of coincidence. We were actually planning to do it, and now only this policy came, which will be helpful for us also to go ahead. So to support early and late stage product development by startup, SME and large company, thus stimulating the biologic ecosystem in the country and contributing to the government effort in making India a leading biomanufacturing hub of the world. So that was our target. So as we are working with startup, there are many startups which are successful in different domain. So these are just few examples I kept. I will not take more time. And when we are talking about successful sustainable development goals, so many of our companies are working which are successfully launched the product and working on different SDG goal of 17 SDG goal. So here just few example, with life science Remedio, they are in pharmaceutical domain. These companies are in agri domain. They are also working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 8 different SDG goals. Here are 2 more. These are globally different startups, company who are working, who are sustainable entrepreneurship actually. I will not go through the detail. Okay, so at the end, our organization, as I mentioned, we have completed 25 years. We are going to have our annual conference. Any startup, anyone interested to present their product, will be having the technology showcase during our conference. If you are interested, we can send an invitation and you can join. Thank you. So these are different prizes for our incubation at different stages.
Thank you, Dr. Machi. And it's really very interesting to find out, because this is the first Indian knowledge park, IKP knowledge park, established in India in 1999. And in this 25 years of your journey, you have really done miracle in this area. And what I am very happy that you mentioned about the Bio E3 policy, which not even 1 month before it's being announced. And in this Bio E3 policy, there are very important things being projected through which the India can play some sort of important role over here. So thank you very much. And I think our friend from the Biotech Park, Kolkata Biotech Park, you can get some sort of hints from here. And do you, could you actually let us know a little bit about your Kolkata Biotech Park? Very short.
You could.
So, thank you, sir.
It is Dr. Debashish Datta, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Kolkata Biotech Park. This is the one which our Honorable Minister is mentioning to us.
So, I'm very much thankful for this August gathering to say something about the Kolkata Biotech Park. So, Kolkata Biotech Park is established just 3 years we are completing, and we have got the government funding for the last 1 year. 8 incubators are working at this present moment, and 6 are in a row, what Honorable Minister Sir has already mentioned during his speech. Here one thing to say that yes, the IKP Knowledge Park and others has gone through a lot. That means they have created a really a good example for the entire nation, that the 25 years they are completely running the show, and is a good show they are doing. Kolkata Biotech Park for the time being have got few of the funding and the good projects they have got from the central government. And what probably Dr. Banerjee was telling, that biomanufacturing, right? So we are targeting to establish the first biofoundry, that is the biomanufacturing hub in Kolkata Biotech Park. So we have trying to get some fund from the DST-GOI, DBT, as well as from the state itself, so that we can develop this kind of practice in this particular zone, which is very much not available at this present moment. And I like to invite those who are trying to do something, the work on this biomanufacturing, and for their work, they are very much welcome to Kolkata Biotech Park. And this biotech park is the first biotech park in eastern part of India, the government biotech park. And I can say that by help of the others, we are giving the maximum service to the incubators, as well as we are giving service to the internship, those who are doing the internship, that means your NEP 2020. As far as that thing is concerned, we are going through the 4 years courses, and there the internship is very much important. So our incubators and Kolkata Biotech Park itself is giving the complete support for all the internship purpose. So I'd like to invite all the persons, those who have been in this education, as well as these bio product, that means your biopharmaceuticals or biotechnological based product development, they are very much welcome, right? This is in the hub of the IT sector, in the sector 5. So we are having a clear vision that just like early 90s, it was the IT hub was being created in Kolkata. So we are sure that within the 15 years or 20 years down the lane, it will be the BT hub, and definitely it will go in the hands with the IT and other sectors also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Datta. And this is what we have discussed in our committee, that we are going to request the government, state government, regarding some sort of regulatory framework or biotech policy of West Bengal. And that's why you have seen that we have given our recommendations of the committee to him. And I hope Dr. Debashish is going to look after that and see what, because biotech, without any policy, any regulatory framework, this particular manufacturer, the startups or entrepreneurs, they cannot move further. So please have a look at it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with the help of that, I want to say 1 or 2 sentences more. No issue at all. So other states surrounding us, that means like Orissa or Assam, they're having the perfect concrete biotech policies. So with perfect guidance of Sir, guidance from Professor Raha, who has been helping us, motivating us always, we have also recommended the biotech policy, which is supposed to be come out at the earliest. That recommendation came from the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and we hope that at the earliest, by help of all of you, the knowledgeable persons present over here, we can frame the biotech policy, and we can go far ahead with the biotech itself. Thank you.
Thank you. So we can move on to our last deliberation by Professor Sushanta Roy Choudhury, who is, I can say, academic, a research scientist, a research administrator, and right now the chairman of ATGC Diagnostics Private Limited. And Professor Roy Choudhury is going to discuss about the artificial intelligence and health sciences. So
Thank you, Professor Chattopadhyay, and also thanks to the Bengal Chamber of Commerce for giving us this opportunity to make this presentation or a discussion. This is a very unique for us, for me. As Professor Chattopadhyay said, I am basically a scientist and trying to be an entrepreneur at the age of 69. Okay? So as you will see, my other friends are, who are they? I hope all of you have gotten the COVID vaccine, right? Right? Unfortunately, you didn't get the vaccine that was developed from a very new laboratory knowledge. That is the mRNA vaccine. Okay? One scientist dwelling at the corridor of University of Pennsylvania with the idea that mRNA can make, if we inject mRNA in the body, it can make the protein and our immune system can react to it. Nobody believed her. She didn't get any funding from NIH, and she was kicked out of University of Pennsylvania because she didn't get any funding, so she cannot stay there, she cannot support her. But she, believed herself that yes, mRNA can do this thing, and rest is the history. That mRNA vaccine was developed by Karikos, and she got the Nobel Prize. So you see, so a knowledge was generated in the laboratory, research laboratory, and it was transferred to the product where whole humanity was benefited. So we are a knowledge-based company. Our only thing we have is the knowledge because of our huge experience in doing biological research for decades. So we thought how we can use our knowledge to make some translation, and as you all hear all the way, and we heard it in a hard manner because our superiors, our governments telling you that you have to do translational research. And East India Company, sir, was said, scientists are doing their job in the lab, but they don't know how to make that, thing to a product. What are the difficulties of developing a knowledge into a product? So there is a huge gap in there. Okay? We do research in the laboratory, we generate knowledge, but we don't know how to translate it. Industry doesn't know what kind of knowledge they are looking for. See, mRNA vaccine, Moderna took it. If you have, there are many books are already there, how Moderna could acquire, believed in that technology. Nobody believed in that technology, that it is possible. But Moderna believed in that. Okay? And what a painful story they have. If you read the books, you will see, to really ultimately make that thing working. So we are a knowledge-based company trying to, do something here in our city. It's a baby step we are putting. We are hoping that with all of your help and advice and support, maybe we will do something in this city, in this state. So today I'm supposed to talk on So, this is our company mission, that we use our knowledge on various genomics, proteomics, cell-based, in all of whatever you are talking. Basically, our mission was to develop diagnostics test or diagnostic processes. And it has been already told by Devdatta, uttered the terminology as a personalized medicine or precision medicine. So what I'm going to today is because I am supposed to talk on AI. I'm not AI person. I'm a biology person, So I know very little about AI. But what I'm trying to gather from the literature and also we did some work. I will show you that what we did, how we utilized the AI ML in our work to make some product out of it. So before that, this is, you all know, it's a huge potential, huge market, okay? It is going at a 40% CAGR, okay? But it has been already, Devdatta has introduced this terminology to you as precision medicine. I want to take it a little bit deeper to make you understand what really precision medicine is and how it is connected with AI. So as you know, earlier days, doctor used to treat the patient based on the symptoms and intuition medicines. Okay, that's what earlier used to do. And nowadays, what we do, we look for patterns. When you go to the doctor gives a battery of tests, and you are very annoyed because I have to spend so much money to get down those tests, right? But those are necessary to give the evidence that what kind of disease you are having. So based on these evidences, doctor diagnosed what kind of disease you have. And accordingly, he or she makes the prescription. But where we are moving, it is already now clear that through those tests for an individual, if I give a medicine to two persons, not always the medicine is going to work to both of them. So we need to make it more personalized or more precise so that the medicine, the diagnosis, the medicine that are being prescribed works for a specific individual based on his or her characters, various characters. And that's where the precision medicine is going to. What it is doing is that, we talk about the data, big data. We are going to generate a huge data for all the diseases with all possible variables. Now, these AI-based algorithms will be used to discern which is the best way to treat to a given individual. And that's what we are moving. And for that purpose, we require to generate a huge data. So, there are four players here: clinicians, the patients, the researchers, and the clinical laboratories. From the patients, biospecimens are taken and analyzed and develop new tests by the researchers. And when the patient is coming, a total history, which we now call the electronic health record, EMR, medical record, which includes the history, exposures, various molecular parameters, genotype, phenotypes, outcomes, how the patient respond to a drug earlier, all these informations will be recorded. And this research data and this EMR data will now be given to will be curated in a database where we will run the AI program to find out, for a given person with his or her background, what is the best fit of treatment is there, and accordingly the patients will be treated. That's where the future we are moving in medicine. So for that purpose, as I said, we need to generate huge data. And that data has to be analyzed by the computer. And that's where the artificial intelligence comes, which basically uses the way our brain works. Whenever some input comes to our brain, it generates signals, and then it gives the output, our action. Okay? And that is done by millions of neurons that we have in our body. Okay? So, the similar kind of network, which we call the neural network, has been built where you give this data, that network will work on it and will give you an output, which is the most possible best fit output. So as we see this here, there are within this artificial intelligence, there are machine learning, there are deep learning, all these various categories, stages of the technology are there, and it goes even more like generative AIs, large language models. All of you now know the ChatGPT, right? Nowadays we have to be very careful. Just last few days ago, one of my students was giving a presentation, lab presentation. What I see, when he is presenting, I see the statement that he had made, so perfect language and so perfect punctuations. Very rarely we find those kind of things. Okay, so I scolded him. I said, you use ChatGPT. You can't use that at this level. Yes, I use ChatGPT, but I know the subject, then I use the ChatGPT. Without knowing the subject, you just can't use the ChatGPT, right? But it's there. It's reality. We cannot ignore it anymore. Okay? It's implication. So all these things, all these technologies, these artificial intelligence, so-called the artificial intelligence technologies, are there to help us. It really, okay, I'm coming to the next slides there. See, sometimes there are, all technology has an bad effect, depends on us, how we are going to use that technology. History has told that thing. So as you see, there are already, use of this AI technology in medicine. Okay, you see, most improved or most used full application of the AI technology is now in the imaging technology. All kinds of images like radiology, pathology, all these images are now being interrogated by the AI by algorithms to get the best out of it. It's already in the market. There are approvals, many such AI-based, things have been already approved and given to the market. Now these data, like clinical trials, so many clinical trials are done. So now when you are going to design a new clinical trial, you try to analyze those previous data, and AI is taken to analyze those data to decide what kind of, in the clinical trial, how you will design it. But there are, more opportunities are also there. Like, as I said, the EMR data or the various signals, okay? I will talk about that thing a little bit later. Molecules, as you know, all these genomics, proteomics, so many data, all these genomics companies are there. Whenever you go for a cancer patients, now the first thing is done, take the tissue and send to the company to get the whole genome profile. That's the first thing in the Western countries that is done, to see what kind of mutations are there, and based on that, they will decide that what kind of drug will be given. Okay, so those kind of coming in near future, but there are also lots of challenges, implementation challenges, responsibility regulations, as I said, because it's your data that are being used for this purpose. So it has to be greatly saved, so that nobody can use that data for other purpose. So in our company, what we have done is that we asked a question. Actually, it is our own research. When I was a research scientist at IICB, I developed this thing. So in oral cancer, there is a very interesting clinical question. It is that we know that any cancer, if it is diagnosed at the early stage, it can be cured. It can be cured, okay? But what happens in oral cancer, at the early stage, about 30% of patients, they have a spread of their tumor cell to nearby lymph nodes, okay, where all these immune cells are generated. So it is kind of a local metastasis, and those patients are not, they don't do well than for whom it was not spreaded to the lymph node. But unfortunately, at that early stage, it was very difficult for the clinicians to see who has the node metastasis, who doesn't. So, as a result, the recommendation is that you remove all the nodes together with the primary tumor. And this comes with a lots of morbidity to the patients as well as the cost. Okay? So, we developed a machine learning based algorithm by analyzing about 300 patients, their transcript, their gene expression profile, and using the machine learning, we developed a gene signature of 34 genes which can predict 80% or more confidence for an unknown set of patients. Okay? So if this, now we can make a chip out of it, and when a patient comes to the clinic, his small piece of biopsy is subjected to this analysis, and if this chip says, yes, this has a metastasis, then the patient will go for node removal. If chip says, no, this person doesn't have the node involvement, so he or she will be only undergo for the local removal of the tumor. So it will help if we can take it further, further, then this will help for a decision making by the surgeon whether or not to remove the nodes for the patients. So we are talking about this kind of knowledge. Use this kind of knowledge that we have generated in various ways, or industry can think of something that, hey, can we develop something like this? And we can discuss and see whether we can develop that thing. Next, I give two examples. As you know, the diagnosis is now going to the patient. The patient should not come to the hospital, but hospital should go, doctors should go to the patients, which we call the point of care service. Okay? So, here Professor Pranta Chakraborty is here. When he was in Nindatan Sarkar Medical Hospital, they analyzed the blood profile of more than 60,000 individuals. 60,000 individuals. And from those blood parameters, they developed AI-based algorithms which can predict just from the CBC complete blood counts, only from that, and age and sex. They can predict whether the person has a carrier of the thalassemia or is suffering from thalassemia, just from CBC. Okay? With a accuracy about 70%, which is much higher than the gold standard method, which is about 33%. So all you have to take this this algorithm with you to the village and take a blood and do the CBC there, and you get the answer. And also they have developed another very important medical problem in our country, in our state also, that iron deficiency anemia. You know, it's a rampant problem, iron deficiency anemia. So whether I can predict, I can detect a person sitting in his home, in her home, okay? So develop a program where, you know, by taking a picture of the eyeball or the nail, they can detect whether the patient is suffering from iron deficiency anemia or not. Okay, so we are talking about this kind of technology, AI-based technology, and this kind of question. The important thing is the question, idea, okay, which will drive you for the answer through the technology. Technology is there, you know, technology is not a problem. Problem is the idea. Okay, so, you know, so these are our people. As you can see, all of them are highly established, one of the topmost scientists of this country. We have come together and thought of starting this knowledge-based company for the development of various diagnostics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shushad Roy Choudhury. And I'm sure that the way you have presented this AI and health sciences, you started, I don't know about AI, but at the end we are not going to agree with it, okay? The examples and everything what you have given, that actually gives us a very good idea about that how AI can play a very important role in healthcare. And you have given certain case studies also which are coming up, and also mentioned about the market trend in the globe regarding this AI. Thank you for your deliberations. With this we are ending, but before that I just need a couple of comments from the audience. Yes, Professor.
It was a, thank you sir. I am R.T. Goswami.
Actually, yeah, R.T. Goswami, Pro Vice Chancellor of Adamas University.
It's not a question, rather after the panelists said some of the comments. We are talking about the AI, I have jotted down certain points. We are talking about the big data, we are talking about the AI. Whenever we are talking about the AI, it is a massive scale of data is required to learn and improve the efficiency through big data, leveraging the AI. But now the major problem is the data. If you do not have the data set, you cannot take the decision making faster. Now it is in the here also, no, even especially after post-COVID, there are so many researchers are working on this, but live data is not at all sufficient. So if you do not have the live data, it's very difficult to work on that. Secondly, as an academician, we are working as an academician, many researchers, many good papers, our CV is being enriched, but very few people are working on the product. Because to sell the product, the marketing is very missing on that ground. So that is also needs to be addressed. Second, the third point is that we are talking about the entrepreneurship, especially in this research sector, but hand-holding is very few. Many students are doing the entrepreneurship thinking at the beginning, but at the end of the year, 4-year or the 5-year, whatever the courses they are studying, they are not getting kind of proper hand-holding mechanism. In Adamas, we are fortunate in some that sense that we have that our EJUVA center, through the EJUVA, Madam knows, EJUVA center is the only center supported by Biotech in Eastern India. We have 12 incubation. We have the incubator and 12 startups we have incubated. So that way even we have the seed money funding is also there. But what next? When you move up, after the seed money, when it's over, where to apply, how to apply, and especially even the funding is a major crunch. So these are the points I feel of that But we are nowadays we are talking about the AI, but what is AI and how it can be? And suppose this is a biotechnology, this is a biology. This is the both way, like in cyber security, if you talk about, we must know cyber law and the cyber tech. Like computer science, you have to inject that. Here also, the biologists need to know the where it is fit in the AI and vice versa. That is my point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. And yes, I just wanted to mention that eYuva is one of the successful venture in eastern part of our country, and they are doing fantastic work. But as he said that how far it will go, there is a question. But I think it will, it's moving. You can see the development of the whole thing. Before I go over there, I just want Shonali to tell, because they have a very, very important incubation center developed in their IIACR Kullani.
Thank you, sir. So I'm really impressed with the talk by Dr. Bandyopadhyay. It's a very nice examples, but most of the examples from outside of India. And just now we have seen one example that Professor Rajchodhuri said his own company. And also, as sir said, that we have an incubation center, RISE Foundation, Research, Innovation and Scientific Entrepreneurship Foundation in IISER, Kolkata, which is funded by DST GOI. We have about 26 incubators at this moment, and there are startups like CanFinish Therapeutics working on CAR T cell therapy, then BioInnovatic working on cell-free protein synthesis, and many more. So, yes, we are trying funding for them. Some of them got the BIG project with 50 lakhs from DBT, some of them got the investor funding, and many very interesting startups, what I can say. But the thing is that, as sir said that it's difficult to get the funding. The problem is that once we started the funding to the startups, I mean, after that they have to think that at which point they will go to the market and earn revenue. So it's not possible for them to just depend on the grant and go on. They have to think about the marketing, and before starting the work, they have to think that need gap analysis, whether the need is there or not, and then their pathway. So as from the incubator, we actually help them, and I must say that as Dr. Sangeeta Maji said, they have supported 150 startups. They have much more good examples, and how they can help them in the later stage. Maybe she can say if sir for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Mr. Tapabruta Mondal. I am a PhD scholar in Computer Science and Engineering Department in Jadavpur University. So my point is to Shushanto Roy Choudhury that this term is called medical image processing. We are doing a project that by the drone you are taking the picture of the crops in a cultivation field, and analyzing the picture you can detect which crops is affecting which kind of disease. So this is very famous in Agri-Tech project actually. So it's called medical image processing. By analyzing the image, you can tell the system that which kind of disease the crops is having right now. So, and another thing is that cancer cell detection. So by image analysis, you can also tell the system that which cell are cancer affected or will be cancer affected in your human body, by taking the pictures of the cells in your human body. So this is another project is going on, it's called cancer cell detection. So this kind of image analysis is also happening in medical domain. It's called medical image processing. So right term is medical image processing, for your current information.
Yeah, but I understand that this medical image processing, yes. AI, deep learning
deep learning
is being used to...
So deep learning is my day-to-day activity. I am a computer scientist and I know artificial intelligence very well. So that is the
point. So you know better than me.
Yes, not better than me, but I can understand artificial intelligence, what you were talking about AI and image processing. It's called medical image analysis or medical image processing.
Yes.
It's a new area of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's the same thing. Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pinaki Ghosh. I'm from the industry. I'm the CEO of DCG Data Core. We are into AI ML services. So my interest was more into the AI/ML conversation that Dr. Roy Chaudhary had. I have a question for the East India Pharmaceutical Works team. But before I do that, I have a comment on Dr. Roy Chaudhary. You said, sir, that you became an entrepreneur at the age of 69. All of us knew about a brand called Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Harold Sanders started it in 65. So all our, we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. My question to the gentleman from EIPL WELs is that, we heard a lot about usage of AI, ML in the diagnosis part of it. I'd like to understand a little bit more on the pharmaceutical manufacturing process where you guys are using AI, ML.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, in manufacturing, I guess the use of AI systems has been there for a long time now, but not on the lines that you are seeing with the research side. There, of course, the kind of the data that is required is not in the tune of what it is required on the research side, because this is a repetitive process for manufacturing. And I am talking about core manufacturing, not the other side. I mean the research part of making a medicine in our plant. If I'm talking about the hardcore manufacturing, the computer systems and the softwares that run the modern manufacturing machines, they have been using AI from a long time. I mean the yield. I mean the nature of the machines actually. So I don't know whether I'm going the right way or not with with my answer, but the softwares that are designed for running these kind of machines for co-manufacturing, the kind of automation, the kind of the pre-programmed knowledge that's embedded in the machines, they also use AI, but not on these lines. Okay. There is a lot of AI in the market studies also, by the way. That has a lot of data, by the way. The big data is used in the market studies that we do. We have a department that studies market data. But the core manufacturing, I do not think the AI is used in the way that we are talking about in this program. It's there in the manufacturing, but mainly in machines. But most of these are repetitive works done by instruments for manufacturing. So not on these lines. The AI is used, but I do not think it is done on these lines.
Yeah.
And for the future research also.
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening. I'm S. Chen Sharma. I'm a retired person from various departments of Government of India and Government of West Bengal.
From the Department of Science and Technology,
Department of
West
Science
Bengal.
and Technology, of course. It's not my domain, biotechnology, but I think for the biomanufacturing of the foods, I'm just focusing Dr. Devdutt Bandyopadhyay and Madam Sangeeta Sen Maji, is manufacturing of proteinous foods. While we are applying, whether there is a legal compliance for that, like an ethical test of a medicine or other drugs, because of the biocompatibility and the physiological compatibility in our system. Because when we took Covishield, after 2 years, there's some negative syndrome comes out. That is my question, whether it will be also eligible to get the FASI registration or not. You understand my point?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Yeah. Any technology that is coming up new has this associated problem of whether it will have any adverse effect or not. So it's also valid for your question and for food technology. Actually, it is little more severe than other fields because it's talking with human health directly. Normally, for any food before going to market, this kind of experimental foods, which are not traditional, they have to go through severe testing and safety precautionary. So I believe before getting the whole thing into the market, government will of course ensure that there is no toxic effect. But what will happen in long term, maybe after 15, 20 years, that is difficult to say.
That is the risk of the industries to take it up.
That is difficult to say. lots of things.
You have to take the risk. Moderna took the risk.
See, I am also a risk assessment.
Yeah.
I used to give training in various industries. I am now an integrated management system advisor. That is my.
Shanita, you want to say something? No, it's okay. Everywhere over there, yeah. Professor, Professor, I should come back to you. Yeah, yes.
So my name is Shodangshu. I'm the consulting partner for the life sciences business for IndusNet Technologies. My question is to Debarshi. So you said that you have your own manufacturing units, right? So are you using predictive maintenance for the machines? That is my first question. And second, you said that you are reaching out to more customers, and you have two customers. One is the HCPs, the doctors. Secondary is the the patients. So how are you managing that? Are you using any omnichannel activities to the doctors, or how are you connecting with the patients as well?
Well, I'll take the later part first because that's a little bit tricky. But see, for us as an organization, this is our 90th year, so everybody knows about what we are all about. And that has actually helped us in reaching out to the doctors in a way that we are used to, pertaining knowledge, daily visits. See, India is as a pharmaceutical market, it's a Me Too market mainly. Mainly the therapeutic areas that we work. So, when it comes to, for example, you're a doctor. So you're a pediatrician, I go to you. So I introduce you to my products, which are almost similar to the 10 representatives who are standing behind me. Okay. So we are a 250 crore rupee company. Among the 10, there will be 5,000 crore rupee companies as well. So I think that is where our goodwill has, and it's still working at this moment. I know there are a lot of things going on in the market. Very, very controversial. Very, very controversial. In that area, sometimes it feels difficult, but I think still, there are still opportunities where you market your product in a proper way. I mean, proper way according to us. Pertaining knowledge, daily and very regular visits. That actually works for us, and it works better for us. Okay, much, much better for us. With all due respect to other companies as well, they have their own way of working, they have their own strategies. Our strategies have been doing it the old way, but that is the better way. Okay, because at the end of the day, when you think that you are doing the right thing, you get a peaceful sleep at night. And I tell all my medical reps that you do something by which you don't have to take sleeping pills at night. Do the right thing, stay on the right track. You'll get your results and you get a good sleep. I mean, you want that at the end of the day, right? So that is this part. Again, the goodwill helps us to reach customers as well. Of course, it has to go through doctors because most of our medicines are prescription drugs. We cannot go to the consumers directly through media. That is something which we do not do in the Indian market. So I think goodwill and a constant, process of maintaining your quality and your quality of work. That is the only two things that helps. Because it's a long-term thing. I'm talking about a long-term thing. You want to have a long-term solution, not a very short-time burst that you become a very big company and you sell everything and go away. That is what we have never believed. So that is why we have survived 90 years with hopefully happy family members in East India. Okay, that is what we have always believed in. And what was the first question? I forgot.
Are you using predictive maintenance in your manufacturing facilities?
We do predictive maintenance. We do. Borun Babu will be able to answer it better than I do.
Yeah, we do some preventive maintenance. Every instruments we are using.
Let's talk about the predictive maintenance.
Predictive maintenance is also doing, because we have every instruments have a AMC. For that purpose and for the regular predictive maintenance, we have a calibration status also. So we have our agencies, we are calibrating the instrument. Suppose a incubator or a shaker incubator or other things, maintaining 37 degrees centigrade, 180 RPM. It is showing digitally. How you ensure that it is reflecting the original situation inside the incubator? That is for calibration. That is done twice a year by a authorized agency by drug control. And every instrument is under AMC. They have the constant vigilance twice or thrice a year over this thing.
That comes under your GMP.
Yeah, and for your quality, I want to add one thing. We are certified with WHO GMP and we are ISO 15,000 2015 company. So our quality is very much stringent. That is.
With the predictive maintenance, another thing which I'll tell you, with the modern manufacturing machines, they have a lot of AI inside. Again, that goes to what sir was asking.
Yes.
So these PLCs will let you know much in advance whether something is going wrong or not, or whether it should go wrong or not. Okay, so I know that with the new machines, if we got one for the tablet manufacturing a few years back, the PLC, the software, has it red flags you much before it's supposed to break down. So this is something which has come to the newer machines. We have a mix of very modern machines and semi-modern machines. We are actually changing into much more modern machines. But I have seen this with the newer machines that it will show you that you are supposed to check this, and time has come that this might not work after
directly
like.
sent to the shop floor managers and they will check it out.
Yeah, they will check because it comes in the software itself. Yeah. We can see it in the computer that it is coming.
Yeah.
You see the manual; it's written there also, but it will show you that this might be coming. So it's there, but obviously.
Question from Madam.
Sir,
I shall end with Professor Rao.
Sir, can I?
Yeah, but that lady. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Shushmita Bhattacharya from ICMR NICET. So as a layman question, I just want to ask, when we apply for BIRAC projects, suppose we have done the basic research till preclinical till in vivo, how do we approach a company? Because they ask for company collaboration in the BIRAC projects when we apply. So is that through, I have to do through bioincubator? If I go through ICMR or ask, that will be a very long drawn process. So what is the immediate thing we can do?
So if you know what kind of product and if you shortlist few companies, we can connect you. Like you are applying for which kind of grant?
Hello?
Which kind of grant you are talking
BIRAC
about?
grants.
BIRAC for, there are different scheme. Yeah.
That is the PACE scheme. There are all, recently the PACE scheme came, PAC.
PACE. So industry partner will be doing your scale up thing?
Yeah.
So if you can shortlist few industry, we can connect with you actually.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, may I? I am Dr. David Paul from NIPER, Kolkata, in the Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis. One question is regarding manufacturing. During the manufacturing time, AI is used. Before, pharma companies won't take a risk at the time of manufacturing. There will be a proper documentation. So before the manufacturing process, during the pilot scale study, optimization part, AI is used. Like the softwares like design of experiment, QBD, and in the research part, profiling softwares, lot of profiling software. Another one is React6 for the science, the chemistry people knows it very well. So the predicting what all the, already what all the studies which has been already carried out in that particular chemical molecule and all. That is, one is Reaxis, the other one is design of software and QBD, kind of software which is very much familiar in pharma industries. And regarding one important point Sir had noted is that antibiotic resistance. So pharma is a regulated environment. So it has to be take decision. Already there is a rules and regulation, proper rules and regulation and guidelines for the sale of antibiotics. So it has the strong regulatory people. Bengal, I think West Bengal, government of West Bengal, that drugs control department has to take the steps, not us. The step has already taken in by the government of Kerala, and they had implemented also. Now, at least 80 to 85% of the shops, pharmaceutical shops in Kerala is not selling antibiotics without prescription. And one suggestion from our side is that the Bengal, like in Hyderabad, madam is from Hyderabad, and other people in Bangalore, and Bengal Chamber of Commerce can take up the initiative to have a proposal of pharma park. So that culture should develop. I am from the Bengal Chemical, that now our institute is in Bengal Chemicals, the first pharmaceutical company in India. What is fate of it? So to come up, to raise to the level, Bengal land is not an issue. So if the Bengal, the Chamber of Commerce with a proper proposal of a pharma park, so we can attract the companies like any major companies, and the global companies will come to it. So I hope you people will take up the initiative for it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Well, there is already a plan of making a pharma park. I am part of a committee that handles this in the Shastra Bhavan in Salt Lake. There is a direction from the government where the Department of Family and Health Welfare, they are thinking about a pharma park in Bengal finally, but it's in a very nascent stage. I won't be able to give you much more detail, but the plan has already been made, and they are asking for recommendations through different Chamber of Commerces. I was telling my chairman that this committee being a very new committee for the pharma in this Chamber of Commerce, we might have representation there, because I have been a part of the committee for ASSOCHAM, because they have taken recommendations, but making a pharma park, I won't say it's a difficult, it's a long run process.
Yes.
Because I would not like to get into controversies, but of course getting a land is a very tedious process in few states. So I know that it can be done, and I know that the government is looking forward to doing it. So we are very hopeful for the pharma park, especially to bring in other manufacturers. Those we are here, we already have spaces for future upgradations.
Research side, Bengal is top. Without any doubt, I can say research side. But for this kind of industry side, we have to rejuvenate it.
Yes, we have to. We have to
that's right.
make sure. You have a point. I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
Because Madam from Genome knows it very well, how the industry is growing up.
Yes.
And Bangalore electronic city side, the pharma. Then the policies of the Himachal Pradesh government, Buddy. Different, in Sikkim now always.
I know we have been
Uttarakhand also
manufacturing
is
there,
coming
so,
up. Uttarakhand is also coming up.
Yeah, I mean the latest biggest hub is in Assam, so it's
Yes.
a very big hub getting set up in Assam. So we would of course like Bengal to get back, because it's the birthplace of pharma industry, as you told. You are part of that, that legacy now. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for the suggestions. Professor Raha.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I just wanted to, first of all, I had wanted to say something, but I got dumped after hearing all these technical discussions. I just want to thank Bengal Chamber of Commerce for organizing this workshop or seminar, whatever it be. They have really done a very good job. I must frankly say that other than the Kolkata Biotech Park, which became operational only during the last 3 years or so under the leadership of Dr. Datta. Unfortunately, in West Bengal, there has not been much development. We heard from Dr. Sangeeta Sen Majhi about what is being done in Hyderabad. We also heard from people like Dr. Sushanta Rai Chaudhary or Dr. Bandopadhyay. In fact, not many people know about what they are trying to do. Unfortunately, we have the talents, but in an organized way, in the form of some sort of policy which should be implemented, which should have been implemented much long time back. Not much was done, but this initiative taken by Bengal Chamber of Commerce, Professor, especially under your chairmanship and Dr. Devashish Dattagupta, you have really done a good job. And my only request is that I am presently connected with the university, Techno India University. We have biotechnology, microbiology departments. They are doing, trying to do something with the help of Biotechnology Park about this internship of some of the students, basically getting acquainted with the actual activities. So if there can be much more opportunity for the university students to get attached to the whatever is being done in West Bengal, in Kolkata, this biotechnology industries, that would be a great help for them. Thank you very much. And I must really congratulate Dr. Sangeeta Sen, Dr. Sushanta Rai Chaudhary, Dr. Devdatta Bandopadhyay, and Dr. Chattopadhyay, and both of you for really making very good presentations, very attractive ones, and especially Dr. Roy Chaudhary's presentation about AI and bioentrepreneurship. That was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
I think the last question.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Sonali Rudra. I'm currently working as Professor of Practice at Adabas University. Prior to that, I have 25 years of research experience in new drug discovery research in pharma companies and CROs in India. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for the nice, interesting discussion on the future technologies that are coming up in the world. My question is to Mr. Debashri Dattagupta. You mentioned about price capping on medicines in India. Now, as you see in India, there is hardly any, not more than 1 or 2 companies probably, who are into new drug discovery research. And the primary reason is they cannot invest the money. If there is going to be price capping on medicines you sell, then how do you, generate the revenues back to sell them new medicine for the cost of the research that you have invested in to do research? So, I mean, this is a policy discussion, I think, for Government of India. I mean, if that kind of a mindset is there, you don't encourage people to invest on research. So if research is not going to be there, how is going to be there be innovation? And so primarily as a country, India has been a service provider country, even in chemistry, drug discovery, or in IT also. Mostly we are a service provider country. We are not an innovator country. So how do you go into innovation if there is going to be a price cap when it comes to selling your product?
Well, absolutely, you are absolutely right. I would love to take you with me to government meetings. So that, so this is actually, what should I say? You are very right on this. You are very, very right. India has not seen a new drug invention in the last, I think, 50 years. It has never happened in India.
There has been one medicine, anti-diabetic by Zydus Cadila.
Has it, sir? Am I wrong?
Cadila, yeah, Zydus Cadila.
Am I wrong? No, I don't.
Yeah, I think I beg to disagree.
Okay.
Zydus has launched 2 drugs, decidustat and saroglitazar, which is completely made in India, starting from research.
And it was a novel discovery, right?
It's completely novel.
Maybe I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Is it NCE? NCE.
Okay, I stand corrected. But see, this is, I mean, just a few. The kind of, if you see the kind of patent applications, sir, in every year, the kind of patents that are being, filed every year.
I have been a part of like 15 INDs, and only 2 of them saw the daylight. So that's what happens. I mean,
and actually, she is right.
I mean, failed in the clinical trials.
I am sure that these are, very confidential data, but Zydus, the kind of expenses that is also required and the time. India has, I think, if I am, again, I stand corrected, around 7,500, 8,000 registered pharmaceutical companies. Half or more, or half of them are MSMEs. And look at their R&D budgets, including ours. It's minuscule. If I compare my R&D budget percentage with, say, Zydus's budget, it's nothing. And of course, yes, you need to pump in money. In our case, of course, you won't get support from, say, big investors all the time for research. Okay. So for us, company like us, we have always had research, but it has been always limited. Zydus has a fantastic policy of research. I know. He's been into it. He knows. The other companies as well. I'm not only talking about Zydus because he's here from Zydus. There are other companies as well. The pharmaceutical companies have been into huge amount of research. But yes, price capping is an issue. Not only for research. It's for the upgradation of your facilities as well. India has just launched the new drug policy. And the kind of changes, because India is now headed towards a GMP that is very close to US FDA. The kind of changes that has been suggested now, I do not think many companies will be able to do it because of the expense. They won't be able to recover the money from the sale of medicines which are capped.
Exactly.
So that is an issue. I mean, that is a big problem. But yes, the silver lining is India is a very, very populous country and it's a very large country. So the more you can reach to your customers, that, for us, we have hardly covered anything in 90 years with 1,000 sales reps. We hardly cover anything. So if you can do it, if you can get the volumes, then you might save something for research. But sometimes it's difficult. It depends on companies. Zydus is a very large, very large company. It's a fantastic company. And they have been able to do it. So, but not the others. Many of us have not been able to do it.
In India, there are hardly, I think, Zydus and maybe Reddy's Origin is
Supply
doing
is
some
there, Ranbaxy is gone.
I worked for Ranbaxy.
Sun Pharmaceuticals is there. Zydus, of course, is there.
Zydus, Sun Pharmaceuticals, yes. One or two, three companies that are there, that's all.
So whenever I speak of Zydus, Cadila comes to my mind. I don't know, I always keep referring to Zydus as Cadila. But sir is absolutely right. I fully stand corrected. But it's very less. I mean, but it's all over the world. It's like that. It's not that the countries in the West have been churning out novel discoveries every year. It does not happen.
But they can invest in research. Like
they can, of course.
The statistics is you make 10,000 molecules, one will reach the market.
Not everybody can do it. But
so the cost is $3 billion and time frame of 10 to 12 years. So, how do you invest?
We can carry on this discussion.
We can do it after this is over.
But what I am saying that I am sure that at least this particular plenary session started with some sort of questions and ended with another sort of questions. And this is actually what we wanted actually to come out of this. And we are definitely going to take the suggestions given by all of you. So I must thank first the audience. Because of your participation over here, it's possible for us to make this particular session a real successful one. And definitely I want to thank the panelists also that we are only 30 minutes lagging behind the time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, the chairperson and the speakers for the session. It was a very insightful session. I request to please be on the dais also. Yes. We have a very pleasant task to perform also. And before closing, we would like to thank Department of Science and Technology and Biotechnology for support, Government of West Bengal for supporting us, and our other partners, gold partners, Linde India Limited, Sister Nivedita University, East India Pharmaceuticals, and our gift partner, Hello Heritage and Christie. I request our gift partners, Reshmidi and others, to please join us for presenting mementos to the chairperson and the speakers. I request the audience to please join us for the high tea at the Bengal Lounge. Bengal Lounge is at the 3rd level. You can take the elevator at the right. না না স্যার একটু এখানে মাঝখানে চলে যান না দেখেন